The Real Deal is brought to you by Indian Point Camp. If you believe in work hard and play hard, if you think of yourself as the guy or girl next door, and if you want to see some real life as they happen hunts, don't go anywhere.
It has been a phenomenal day out here.
Indian Point Camp's The Real Deal is a group of people who work hard and play hard. We literally are the guys and girls next door.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Here, you get to see our adventures unfold exactly as they happen. No smoke and mirrors here. We are the ultimate reality show. We are The Real Deal. You know what? Dreams can come true. During last week's episode, we skipped over day 2 of our safari. Right now, I want to go back and show you what happened on day 2 with my warthog hunt.
This is absolutely fantastic terrain for kudu. So this guy,
Because of the trees.
a lot of trees, a lot of places for them to hide. There's quite a few valleys that keep, when there's a valley it's always a little bit moist in there, and the trees keep the leaves longer, the frost doesn't get to them. So it's a very good property for kudu. So this specific man will be very, how can I say that? The kudu, he looks after the kudu very well. And if I say he looks after the kudu, it doesn't mean he goes and give them a stroke on the head every night. He just, when it comes to the harvesting of the animals, he will be very, very specific on what he wants to hunt. Like kudu, for instance, can only hunt old bulls, and not the young ones with good genes. And you do get kudu here that's 5 years old, that's got 55-inch horns. But those are the ones that we leave to breed, and we'd rather shoot a 10-year-old bull that's 50 inches.
Well, here we are, hunting day 2. Vihan's got us out in a spot where there's a good possibility of seeing warthogs again. So we're gonna walk for, he said under 2 hours, and we're just gonna. What we're doing is we're keeping an open mind. We've got several things that we're thinking about doing. So we're gonna bring two rifles, Bill's rifle and my rifle. And even Callan is looking for a blue wildebeest as well. So if he sees the one that he wants, he's just going to take one of our guns and take it. But this area we are in it's breathtakingly beautiful, as you've seen. Absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. We're just going to make this happen right now. We're going to go for a walk and see what we can see. So you got a warthog yesterday, right? And this was a really, really big warthog today. Are you trying to protect the size of your warthog? Are you trying to purposely scare mine away? What happened in there? I mean, we're kind of joking, but it is serious. We were after these warthogs and we got in tight, 25 yards as you just saw. And Bill was behind the cameraman. And was it a cough? He had a little coughing
choke, cough, yeah.
dry, dust. And hey, you want reality? That's real. It doesn't get more real than that. How many times we messed up a deer hunter or something because someone sneezed or whatever, but yes, I will let you pour me a vodka tonight, buddy.
All night.
Closed captioning for this episode is brought to you by bearballbaits.com. Yes, a funny name, but serious results. This segment was brought to you by Best Western Plus, Dryden Hotel and Conference Center. So that's what happened on day 2. But things happen for a reason. Let's skip ahead to day 5 of our hunt. Now, a lot happened between day 3 and day 5, and we will show you that. But for now, let's enjoy the rest of my warthog hunt. Did he run? He took one for the team when we crossed the fence too. He ripped his hand open on some barbed wire. When I first talked to Vihan via email, he says, "Mark, what's your number one?" He asked me what my number one animal to take in Africa would be. And I said a warthog. And we've got a beautiful old warthog down here. Sorry about the motions here. But he's got beautiful golden mane. His tusks are about that big, Vihan said, with a twinkle in his eye. But we did it. My number one animal. My number one animal was my third animal, but my number one animal is down. I've been waiting a long time to touch an animal like this. I keep joking, he's so ugly, he's beautiful, and they are. And that golden mane. You know what? Dreams can come true. I have literally dreamt about harvesting a warthog for several years now. I didn't realize I was going to be coming to Africa now. I thought it was a year or two away, but when I started doing a little bit of research with Nungai, I realized that I can do this hunt, this safari, take multiple animals for the same price that I can do some single animal hunts in North America. So why wouldn't I? I just made my dreams come true. Well, I didn't make my dreams come true. Nungai Safaris made my dreams come true. Very similar to last week's episode. My shot angle and the camera angle were so different. I waited a long time just for that clear shot with no other warthogs behind mine. The camera angle is just so different from the shooter's angle. This segment was brought to you by Dam Beaver Trapping Supplies for all your trapping needs. Outside the Hunt is brought to you by McKinstry Chrysler, where the tradition of excellence continues. If you ever get the chance to go on a trip like this, like what we did at Nungai Safaris, I strongly suggest that you go with an open mind and be open to ideas and plans that are maybe outside of your comfort zone or outside of the norm for you. This week on our Outside the Hunt segment, I want to touch on just that. Well, in South Africa, we were lucky enough to experience many different styles of hunting. There were times where we would drive around in a vehicle spotting game, and we would make a game plan to go after those animals. We walked creek edges and water edges spotting game. We even climbed small hills and mountains and got good vantage points and looked out over the plains and spotted the animals and then made plans to go after them. We also sat at watering holes and feeding places and in ground blinds. But one of the most amazing things we did was a night hunt for bush pig. I really had no idea what we were up for, but what an incredible experience this turned into. I also had no idea how black it can get once the moon goes away. And to make up for the lack of vision, I found that my other senses were heightened. My hearing was so acute that I was actually hearing things that I never would have heard during the daytime. And even my sense of smell was better without the vision. We had baboons come in, deer, and even porcupines. And yes, we did have the pigs come in. Twice. The first time they came in, they rooted around very close to the ground blind, and they caught our scent and left without an opportunity. They're actually really smart animals. Now, the second time they came in, we were so close to getting one. But when you're dealing with 3 people in a ground blind, a compound bow, a red light lighting system running off a battery, and camera gear, you know, to be honest with you, just to get the opportunity or the chance at one at 20 yards was a pretty great experience. So, if you ever go on a trip like this, keep an open mind and don't be scared to do things that are out of the norm for you. Every night we would sit down for dinner with Bev and Vihan, and above my head was this incredible animal that, I'll be honest with you, I knew nothing about.
After a short discussion about this red hartebeest, I realized I wanted one. And only half kidding, I asked Vihan if he could find me one bigger than the one on the wall. Vihan's gonna take me out to see if we can find me not my first or second choice. I've added an animal to my wish list. I fell in love with the red hartebeest, and we're on a property with a lot of red hartebeest, and we're gonna go see if we can get one. The special thing about this property is right over my shoulder is we have a rhinoceros on the property, and this is really cool because they're so protected that the property manager is actually going to come with us, and just to make sure there's never we're not hunting anywhere near where the rhinoceros are. What an amazing experience. Right there, rhinoceros. You can find The Real Deal on Instagram, The Real Deal TV, or on Facebook at The Real Deal with Mark, M-A-R-C. This segment was brought to you by Heavy Shot. I didn't come this far to miss. This episode was brought to you by Indian Point Camp. The Real Deal was also brought to you by the following companies. So we just got on the property and it didn't take long. Spotted some red hartebeest, and there's a big one in there. So we're gonna give it the old college try. That's a lot of people going across some open land, but might have to do some belly crawling or something, but we're gonna give it a whirl here right away. How do you get 3 or 4 people across a wide open plain with just one tree for cover? Simple. You make yourself look like another animal. We bunched up real tight together, and Vihan used the shooting sticks and put them above his head to make us look like we had horns. Now, word of advice, this will not work in North America, so don't even try it. But I'll be darned if it didn't work perfectly well on this hunt. You good, Colin?
Yeah. It dropped. It dropped.
Thank you.
I didn't want to tell you that.
Welcome to Africa. I'm just shaking. I'm not the world's best shot, but I took a lot of time there to get myself calmed down. And by the time I took the shot, I was very, very confident. And I put the 200 yard crosshairs right on him, just to the side of that center there. Whew, what a beautiful animal.
Did you see the difference in size? I didn't want to tell you that because I was gonna scared that you're gonna get even more jittery. But when we decided on the right hand side one, he was a beautiful one, and when I scanned him, I just saw this monster. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, I gotta give a real quick shout out to a friend of mine here, Chris Chudsey. When I was coming to Africa, I wasn't sure what to buy for ammo, and he hooked me up. He works for the Korth Group, and he hooked me up, told me exactly what to buy for ammo. That's 2 shots I've taken here, and 2 animals that have dropped, plus the same ammo Callan used on his wildebeest. He used my rifle, and that animal didn't, I don't think it made it 100 yards. I know it didn't make it 100 yards. So we've got someone else here. We've got Clinton back here, which is a property manager. And a big part of this trip for me has been education. I have learned so much about Africa, about hunting in Africa, about the culture, about the people. But if you don't mind, Vihan, I'd like you to explain Clinton's role on this property and why he's here with us on this hunt.
I'll gladly do so. Thanks for being here, Clinton. Well, the property is managed by Clinton, and as I said, there's quite a bit of rhino on the property. Now, as everyone around the world knows, there's a big rhino poaching situation going on all over the world, and especially in South Africa. South Africa has, I think, 85 or 90% of the world's white rhino population, and this property hosts quite a bit of rhino. So, unfortunately, a few years ago there was a rhino poached in the area, and the people got together and they said, listen, we are not going to get rid of the rhino. We are going to make a huge conservation effort to look after this rhino. So what they did is they employed and trained anti-poaching people that basically live with the rhino 24 hours a day, especially when the moon is full. That's when there's a high rate of rhino poaching. And Clinton is here because he knows exactly, he's got radio contact with the people that looks after the rhino. And as I explained earlier, they don't necessarily walk 10 yards from the rhino and say, hello my friend, how are you, type of thing, you know. But they are in the area all the time. They look for tracks, they look for vehicle movement, they basically look after the rhino. So we don't want to go close to them, and we obviously don't want to put anyone in danger. So Clinton is here and he will tell us, okay, in this area we can hunt, because he's just spoken to the guys and they're not close. So more than just what you see on TV and more than what we've just explained, this was a really neat factor that I wanted to share with everyone. So thanks, Vihan.
As you can see, this was a very special hunt on so many levels. Not only was I able to harvest a huge red hartebeest, but some of the money from this hunt went to protect those white rhinos on the property. And we got another incredible South African education on conservation and how us as hunters truly do protect these animals.